Well, classical is a world in its own entirely. I mean, its own theory, its own sort of expressive nature and codes and, the dynamics. And there's a whole breadth there of tools to utilize. But I think it's very important in that world to also note that with music theory, it's just theory. It's not definitive and rules can change. So heaviness in that regard, I mean, it's all about the layers for me. It's all about each instrument has its own role, its own function, and it's the relationship of those together. It's not just, here's some, a mistake a lot of bands make, I find, is I'm just going to stick the vocal on top. It's what is the relationship between each of these parts and how do they work together? Prime example, the heaviest piece of classical music for me is Shostakovich, String Quartet No. 8. He wrote this, he was having a bad time in life. His hometown of Dresden was bombed. He came back and he wrote this piece. And for me, that is the most heart-wrenchingly heavy piece of music ever composed. Emotionally, you can feel it, but the way that the instruments are exploited and their relationship with each other is, for me, the absolute pinnacle of heaviness. So I tend to prefer to think of tone color and tone palettes. So in sort of the metal side of things, I go, okay, how can these instruments exploit each other? And I'm looking at the sort of sweet spots of each instrument. I'm looking at frequencies. I'm looking at, okay, this part of a cello has more of a sweet timbre, this part has a darker timbre, and how that interacts with what a guitar can do, or with the drums. It's definitely a delicate balance, and it's one that's very hard to strike. But it comes down to, I mean, for me, it's what do I find is most important. And I would always prioritize strings and orchestration over a band, just because of course, there's many timbres you can play with electric instruments and such, but having that breadth of understanding of what all these instruments can do and knowing, okay, I want to pull this sound from this, I want to pull this sound from that, it just gives me a bigger palette to paint with. Ultimately, these are the tools in your toolbox. These are mechanisms that you're employing. At the end of the day, the harsh vocals is extended techniques. It's utilizing this instrument in the best way possible. So my classical training is the reason why I can do the extreme vocals. If I didn't have that training, I would not be able to do it, because it gives you a foundation of technique and of understanding of, okay, this is the pharynx, this is the larynx, this is what this does, this is what that does. And once you understand you are a physical body, I mean, the sky is your limit.